This is BACKTALK by Successful Black Parenting Magazine, the most listened to podcast for parents by parents.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to BACKTALK by Successful Black Parenting Magazine. This is the talk show and podcast for parents. I am Celeste, your host and publisher of Successful Parenting Media. Now, I want you to share this broadcast with all of your friends and followers, and don't forget to leave your comments and questions, and we'll do our best to answer them after the show. Today's episode is with Karen and Dion Derricos, and you may know them from the TLC hit reality series, Doubling Down with the Derricos. They currently have 14 children, 14 quintuplets, triplets, and twins, all naturally. Here's a clip from the show.
I'm Karen.
And I'm Dion.
And we have 11 amazing children.
It sounds like a herd of horses!
We've had 4 sets of multiples back to back. And all of my children were naturally conceived.
You're pregnant again?
After our first 2 children, we had our twins, followed by our quintuplets, then twins, and now I'm pregnant again with triplets.
Karen and Dion, welcome to the show. So you guys, thank you. You guys like each other a lot, huh? I'm just saying. 14 kids. All right, just a little bit. Okay. Well, do you have daily help, or how do you do this? Can you walk us through maybe an average school day? Do you have help with that?
Average school day, our children are homeschooled. And homeschooling for our children, it has been the same. During the pandemic, we were one of the fortunate or blessed parents that our children was already homeschooled. I provide all of their supplement and curriculum work. So we didn't have that big hurdle to jump over when it came to homeschooling. But it is a lot. It's definitely a lot because I have a 9th grader all the way down to toddlers that I'm teaching. And so I just break them up in their age levels. And I have a whole routine of a day scheduled out for them. And they have a folder and they have their schedule in there. And the goal is to start at 6 and end by noon. That's my goal every day, but it doesn't happen that way all the time. So that's why I let other parents know, just let go. Don't stress out about it. You'll make it up later on that day and find other fun ways in it.
Well, I know, Dion, you help, but do you guys have other help besides just you two? Who's helping you guys with all of these kids? I'm sure they help out too.
Well, Eric and my mother, Gigi, we get help from them. But believe it or not, for the most part, it's just she and I. We get help from Eric and Gigi whenever we need it, like I say, here and there. Right. But I would say 97% of the time, it's just she and I.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How tired are you guys? You guys got to be tired.
I want a nap right now.
Yeah. But we really and truly had to perfect our system together, because there are times where we cannot get the help.
Right.
They have their own lives as well. And we do not want our children to be a burden or hindrance to anybody else. We wanted to have a lot of children. And that's why we take our time to figure out a system that works for both he and I.
Right. Absolutely.
I see. So you have a system. So it has to be really organized, I would assume. You guys are organized people. You have to be, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Everything we do is planned out days in advance. Just for this interview with you, we planned it out days ago.
Yes, I purposely, parents ask me, how do you keep, we don't do a lot of the video games. We don't do any video games as far as letting them just sit and play. We don't let them hold the iPad and just watching and become zombies. We don't allow that. But what we do is when we have important events like an interview like this, that's when we'll say, now you can get your G-Pad, or now you can get the iPad. And then you stay. So that's why you hear pure quietness right now, because this is the first time in a month that they've had it.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And I was about to ask, where are the children? So I'm glad you clarified that.
They're here.
Okay.
Preoccupied. Yes. Thank God.
Yes.
Okay, but then it's bedtime. So what time are all of the children asleep?
About 8. The triplets, we're in a transitional phase with them because Diver liked to crawl out of his crib, girl. And so I had the bright idea of getting toddler beds, and that is like another whole shift, right? Because they keep getting out.
Indeed.
Now crawling, so we're changing up this room. So I think their new bedtime is going to be like 6:30 now, because it was 5:30, but I'll have to shift that to 7. But everyone is in the bed by no later than 8:30. Darian stays up later, so 8:30. They're in bed, and it's no debate. There's no negotiating about this. You had up until 8 o'clock to get it together and tell me whatever you wanted to tell me, but these 30 minutes are going to be spent preparing for bed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's really good because we can't even get our toddler and preschooler to stay in their room at night, and we just did the toddler bed too. So that freedom, oh my God, you just watch them on the camera just go all over the room. It has to be totally childproof everywhere.
Yes. I literally sit with the camera with popcorn because I'm like, oh, this is getting good right here. This is going to get good.
Right? They get into things you didn't even think about. I'm like, what? Okay, now we got to go fix that.
Yes, absolutely. Fix that. I was telling him he has to mount the TV on the wall now in their room. And it's little things like that. Yeah, it's a job.
Do they ever end up in your bed? Because that's a big problem for a lot of parents. They'll feel sorry for the kids after a while, just give up. Yeah.
There's always a child in our bed. Always.
That's so funny.
I don't know how we have 14 because there's always someone in there with us.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. But it's true. I mean, we're parents, so it happens.
Yes.
What about little things like sharing toys? Like, do they have fights that break out at 14 with 14? Or I mean, do they have enough toys to go around? They don't fight over toys? How does that work?
So it's a couple of things. They have enough toys to go around. They'll still choose to have a disagreement over one toy.
Right.
And this is primarily the younger ones, because the older ones know, hey, we don't play that. This house is filled with toys. If you don't have that one available, go to the next one. So that's primarily the Diaz and Dior, which are the triplets. And then, of course, the triplets, they're learning it. But the older ones, they have it now. They understand that we're part of a collective big picture. And it requires us all sharing and being in each other's space. And so they've learned to appreciate and accept that.
Right. And they bring it to us. They don't sit and try to referee between themselves. They bring it to us. That's why we're the parents, and we talk to them and we'll say, okay, how long did you have it? How long did you have it? Okay, now we're gonna use this. I personally have used timers. Derricos have good memory, so he remember who had what. But I set little timers, and just from my own early childhood education experience, I set little timers and say you can play with it. When the timer goes off, then it's time for your sibling right here to play with it.
Yeah.
And it helps. Right. That bell goes off, and they're like, okay, your turn.
That's great. Early childhood education definitely helps. That's my background too. That was my first degree, so I get it. I totally get it. And I would use a timer too. What about the noise level? So we have 2 that are very vocal out of 3, and they scream when they play all the time, just out of fun. They just like this high pitched banshee scream, and I'm like, this runs right through your spinal cord, and you know they're not in trouble. They're just having fun. So what do you do?
You feel like you've been electrocuted. I'm just like,
exactly.
But it's really the triplets, which are the younger babies.
Yes.
Specifically Diver, but all 3 of them were really Diver and De'Aaron. Yes. Because Dawson's voice, I guess because of the surgeries that she had, she don't have the same depth in her voice as the other 2. So she'll make a noise, but you just don't hear her the same.
Right.
But Diver and De'Aaron, especially Diver, he's a screamer. Yes. I mean, this is a screeching, chalkboard type screeching sound. Yes. Yeah.
But what do you tell him when that happens? How do you get him to bring it down like 2 levels?
Hey. But believe it or not, that's how we sort of get all of them, because the older ones at one point did it as well. And so we just sort of let them know, teaching with children starts very, very
Yes.
young. And I think that's the mistake that some parents make, thinking that they're too young to understand. They really understand. And to me, right at around 6 or 7 months of age is when they really get sort of grasp following the parents' lead.
Yeah.
And so when people comment and compliment us on how well behaved they are, this has been training in the making from 6 months on. I mean, for the most part, we've communicated in such an effective way that they grasp what we're trying to, I guess, show them, if you will. So by the time they get 2 years of age, we can easily say, no, that's not right. Put that back. Don't do that. And we don't have to raise our voices. They know.
Right. Dion, I agree with you. I think we underestimate our kids as being, they say blank slates. They are, but, they learn, they watch, they observe before they're even speaking. So they know a lot by the time they start talking to you. So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I mean to cut you off. Okay. So just for our listeners who don't know you guys or haven't maybe seen the show, all of your children, their names start with the letter D. Yeah. Now, Karen, you're the only one that's the outcast. So why? Like, how did that happen? Like, why did you decide to do that?
Well, while I was in the club, backing it up. That's how we met, right? I was so, oh my gosh. I was like, wow, this guy is so like bold and on the floor dancing. And he tells me his name was Derricos. First he said Rico, but actually it's Derricos. I was like, oh my God, I love that name, Derricos. That's so different. As time went by, he then told me that, it was Dion. It was double D's. And that he would like for when he have children, his children follow in that as well. I didn't have a problem with it. I just wanted to be able to have babies. So I was like, great, we can do this. So being the outcast of the only K, it deems that queen, they treat me as that queen. Absolutely. And, they're like, oh, mommy, K, you're the queen. So I like that, but I'm fine with it. That's how all of our 14 children got the name D.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And if you continue to have children, they're all going to continue that trend, correct? That you're going to keep going D's. Okay, cool, awesome. I think that's very, very cute. I like it. I mean, the Kardashians did it, right? Yeah. So, like, why not? Why not?
And ours had nothing to do with Kardashians, as a matter of fact, because we had put this together way before the Kardashians hit the fan. I mean, respectfully.
So you were the original ones that did it. I love it. I absolutely love that. Okay. So let me go back to a little bit about the management, because in our house we have very picky eaters and different preferences for food. I mean, at one point it was like turning into a restaurant. I want this and I want that and I don't want that and I want this. And I know when I was growing up, it was like you eat what's on the table or you don't eat. So how do you manage your picky eaters among your children? Like, is it a restaurant menu or they have to eat what you put on the table?
We're right there in the middle of either you're not going to eat or you're going to eat this, and it's a restaurant also. Because some of them we really know do have challenges with certain things they really cannot eat. And we know that they've never liked, such as durian with cheese. Durian doesn't eat anything with like jelly. She don't eat like strawberries, things, and she never has. And then like Dallas never really liked pizza or pasta, anything with like marinara sauce in it. He's never liked that. And like Dayton and Darius don't like meat for the most part. They'll eat like hamburgers, they'll eat chicken nuggets, but they don't really just eat like chicken on a bone. And that's what mommy don't either.
Extremely, I will look at how you tell your child, try it before you like knock it. Yeah, if I look at it, I don't want it. I'm like, no, I'm good. And that's not a good thing when it comes to your children, though. And which is why I don't like to cook. I'm not a good cook. I don't like to cook. I do not like the kitchen. None of that works me right now. What works me is going shopping for their school items and doing the classroom and teaching them. So he's a great cook. He does all the cooking in the house. And the children love it. Whenever I say, would y'all like mommy to cook? They're like, oh, great. Where are we ordering from?
Wow, that's a perfect synergy though. You like to cook, she doesn't like to cook, so you step in. I love how you guys like just take up the slack for one another, and I imagine that's very necessary, especially if one's really tired and you have to pick up that slack. I think that really works well with you guys, right?
Yes, it does. And that's one of the things that people say, how do you guys work? To be honest, everything that I'm weak at, that's her strong point, and vice versa. Everything that she's, weak at, I'm strong at. So, and we don't try to compete with the other one. She's excellent with teaching them. I stay the hell out the way. I support her in it, of course, but I stay out the way. That's her domain, so to speak. And then me with the cooking is sort of the same thing. I really enjoy it. I enjoy taking the time to show them, how to cook. Like she enjoys taking the time to do art and crafts. I have no patience. Does my OCD kick in, and I don't want to see paint over there? And she has that, and I'm just out of that world. Period.
Like it's a part of the creative process, baby. He gets all. I'm like, get out the way. Get out the way. We have to make a mess. We got to make a mess so we can make something good out of it, okay? Now move.
Right. Well, it's good that you know each other's strengths and you play on them and you know when you got to step in. I love that you guys have that synergy. It makes you even better parents. And, we can see from the show that you guys are really, really great with the kids. Y'all get them involved in everything from, I saw the dance program for Halloween. That was so cute. Yeah. I love doing things like that with our kids as well. So we have dance parties, I think, almost every other day at our house. So that's pretty cool. Let me, you guys, that was really funny. Everything from with multiple children, from a perspective of a person that doesn't have multiple children, it just seems to be so amplified. Like, how do you manage just basic things like transportation? Like you have like Sprint vans. What do you have? How do you do that? Like, especially going back and forth to like sporting. They're in sports and things. So, and I'm sure other extracurricular activities. So how do you do that?
That's a good question. We have several vehicles, thank God. Yeah. But we have two primary vehicles that we transport everyone in. That's a 15-passenger van and a minivan. Mm-hmm. And those two together, we're able to transport everyone. I am working on getting us a transit van. What is it? A shuttle bus that would be like 24 seats. And because I have, thank God, I have a commercial driver's license. So I have a CDL license for transporting children, passenger endorsement. Mm-hmm. And Gigi has that as well. So if I purchase us a transit van, I would be able to legally transport us all. Because I don't like having to drive the two vehicles. So that's something we're working on. But right now, we just take two vehicles everywhere we go, whenever we go as a group. And then mommy and I have our own separate vehicles. Yeah. Whenever we call ourselves chilling with just one or two children, we have our separate vehicles outside of the two major ones.
Yeah.
And how many car seats?
We got 5 car seats right now. 5
car seats. So, and what? 5 and what?
No, just 5. 5 car seats.
5.
Yes, 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so the pain about car seats is that when you have multiple vehicles is taking them out of one vehicle and putting them in the other. So you guys got to get some duplicates.
Yeah.
You haven't a clue. And especially like at times that she'll say, well, baby, I'm going to take this child to the doctor, or I'm going to take this child to, to the eyeglass doctor, something to that effect. We had to take a car seat out of one of the other vehicles because we try to leave them in the vehicles because we just don't have enough room in the house to have car seats in here. As you can imagine, there's toys, clothes, our stuff, our office supply, school supplies that she has everywhere. Yeah. So we're just constantly trying to minimize how much is in the house. This extra work because now we have to go into one of the other vehicles and take a car seat out of that vehicle and put it in our personal vehicle. It's a job every day. It's a job.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you. So I know this is the norm for you. So, but do you have any real world parenting hacks that you use to keep you sane through this whole process of going through all the kids every day? Like, what do you do that maybe other parents don't do that keeps you organized even?
Well, I can say some of the things, this is just from the people I have talked to and from being directors and preschools and stuff, one of the things that we do is we are really big on our children taking naps. That is a must. And I get a lot of parents that would say to me, how do you get my child to take a nap? And when I am home on the weekends, I can't do it. Well, one of my things was when I had Darian was I'm not gonna allow anyone else to be able to get my child to do anything else other than me, if that makes sense. So if she does not take a nap with me, then I'm trying to word it right, make sure you understand it. I don't like the fact that my child would take a nap with somebody else and not me. You're with me majority of the time. So the way I do it is we make sure that they take a nap every single day. And at the same time, from 12:30 to 2 o'clock, that is your downtime. We need that. Every parent needs it. The child needs it. It's your time to get anything done. You need that. And so napping is one. When the children get older, they must clean their room. You get up, it's just as simple as you're getting up. You may use the restroom, but you come back, you make your bed. Yeah. When you take your shoes off, taking them off and put them back in the same space. These are things right here. Derricos came up with the birth order of the shoes, which I really did love, because when it's time to go, we don't have time to get your shoes, grab your shoes, do this, do that. Your shoes are right there and they're in birth order. So they have these little cubbies with their names on it where their shoes and their things are. So everybody has a place, everybody's name is there. So they should be arguing over, that's my shirt, that's mine, those are my pants. And I thank him for coming up with that. So just trying to be as organized in the day, and he says it all with his OCD. If you stop and do things immediately right there, you wash that cup in the sink, you put that backpack on the hook right there, you put your jacket up. When it's time to go, you do these same routines every day. You go to school every single day. Let's move along with this. So those are things like that. So you have to make your child take a nap. I say that, this is what you're going to, no matter how much they kick, they scream, they fuss, they fight, you are going to take a nap today.
Perfect. I love that. And I know that's really important, and it is a nice break in the day, and the kids need it themselves just so they're not cranky by the end of the day.
That's the honest God's truth. They'll get very, very cranky themselves. And also, it reminds me a lot of, I'm sure you remember in school, where the teachers had prep period. And prep period gave them the time to prep, of course, for the next class or the next day in some cases. And so the nap time for our babies, give us that time as well, our time to prep their next meal or decide what she and I are going to do, where we're going to take them. And in some cases, we'll get a nap with them.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a nap time, and you need your bedtime. You need to make sure they go to bed at the same time every night. And there's friends I call, and we're trying to talk at 10, and I hear their children just running around in the back, and they're like, girl, I can't get them down. And I'm like, it's as simple as you need to go to bed. Right.
No negotiating. It's the parents.
I don't
we're
get
the
it.
leaders.
Yeah. Just go to bed and stay in the bed.
Perfect. Now, let me ask you this question, because even with 2 kids, when you add this to the equation, it can cause chaos. Are your children allowed to eat sugar?
Oh, yeah.
They eat sugar. Oh, gosh. How do you do that? Do they change? I know with ours, as soon as they get sugar, it's a whole different kid. Like, they're bouncing off the walls. Maybe because we don't give them sugar a lot. So
maybe because she and I both have our share of sugar.
So you're able to keep up.
Yeah, we have our share of it. And it's really a balancing thing. This is where it works, because I am a huge veggie eater. Like, oh my gosh, love veggies. And
I hate veggies.
He hates veggies, but he's the cook, right? So hear this funny story. I've learned to do all my veggies steamed. I've learned. Look at that. I don't have to do nothing but just pop it over a steamer, and there they go. Yay. And the children love that. And so you eat your veggies, here's your sweets. You don't eat your veggies, you don't get no sweets. And you ought to see them at the table looking around. Yeah. And then when they see the other one getting their sweet, whatever it is, bowl of ice cream, you ought to see those veggies gone. So now I don't even have to, in a sense, bribe them anymore. It's just as simple as that. You're going to eat your veggies because you need them.
But for the most part, they eat
Yeah,
veggies
they do.
because she's always eating veggies. She's always eating veggies, pregnant with them, and she's a natural, huge veggie eater. And children really are taught, of course, by the way we lead. So I say for the most part, we only have one that we sort of had to do that with, which is Darius, who we had to
Oh,
sort
yeah.
of bribe. If you don't eat these vegetables, you're not eating no ice cream. But the rest of
Yeah,
them, they
that's true.
really naturally on their own, they do love some form of vegetables.
Yes, they cook. He definitely cooks very well. So it's not really a whole lot of pulling teeth on you're going to eat your food or
Yeah.
not and what you're going to eat. He really does. So we're really blessed that our children really is well rounded when it
Yeah.
comes to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And I'm so happy to hear they eat their veggies. That's a challenge at our place as well. Do you guys need a vacation and any plans coming up?
Oh my God.
Do we need a vacation? That's all the time.
Yes.
And that hasn't anything to do with the stress of children. We just really believe in allowing them the opportunity to just be children, to
Yeah.
have a ball, to get loud, to roll over, to run. Our children are very athletic. They're very active. That's why we don't believe in having the video games. From our perspective, just seeing a lot of the children with the video games, we have witnessed it seems to lead into a lot of childhood obesity. And we're really big and advocates on not having that. Yeah, and social skills. So having said that, our children are really constantly active, and you can see it in their little weights. They got their little body frames like mommy, but also it helps because they're so active. And so having said all of that, we're always exploring different ways and new ways we can be creative and take them on various vacations. We enjoy exposing them to new things, new cultures and things of that nature. So yes, so vacations, we're always in need of one.
Yes.
Fantastic. Any upcoming plans for taking the kids on vacation with you guys?
We have several. Yeah, we have several. Some that you guys will be seeing us post on our social media. Yeah, and we have a couple surprises for the babies.
Oh, wonderful. That has to be really interesting to watch. I'll make sure I stay tuned and follow so that I can see how you guys are managing on vacation, because that's a whole other article for us, how to manage with kids on and while you're traveling. So I can't imagine doing that with 14 kids, strollers and all kinds of luggage. I don't know. That seems like a little overwhelming for me.
We literally have to mail our luggage to various places before we even get there. That's what we just did. We took it was a vacation sort of a couple of months ago, and we had it so down pat. We stayed at a villa right at the beach, and so when we went to the beach, she stayed back, and we went to the beach. She said, "Well, baby, you call me when you're on your way back." When I called her, when we get back, she had all these little like hospital tubs, the little hospital tubs you see. She had all these little hospital tubs laid out with water in them. And each child got into a hospital tub and got all the sand off their feet. Yeah, got the sand off their feet, and then she wiped them up, and then I went and got them in the shower. So it's everything.
It's like an assembly line.
Yeah.
So you come, you dip your feet. I wash your feet. I felt like biblical days washing the feet. And then I was like, step onto this rug and then follow Poppy into the shower. But it's the system, that's that communication.
Yeah.
And, I tip my hat to his mom and my mother as being single parents.
Yeah. And all single parents.
All single parents. I mean, it's definitely a lot. I can't even imagine, to be honest. But yeah, that's what we do. So when we go on that vacation, we'll definitely let you know.
And I would like to say shout out to all the single parents, because believe it or not, you guys are questioning us about having so many children. How do we work through it? She and I, at the end of the day, have she and I. Yeah. But single parents have no one. So when that child has a toothache in the middle of the night, when that child has, get a fever in school, and that single parent is working sometimes 1 and 2 jobs or 2 jobs and going to school, they don't have anyone to tag team. She and I, we can handle all of our babies individually. So if something is wrong with me, I'm tired, don't feel up to it, or vice versa, I say, hey, baby, I'm tag teaming out. And I still have her. A single parent don't have that. So big shout outs to all the parents, whether you're mother, father, grandparent, aunt, uncle, taking care of children by yourself. Shout out to you.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure the single parents appreciate that recognition, because it is hard. It's difficult. I had to do it for a little while, and it was very tiring, very tiring.
Yep.
So thank you for that. And the question that everyone asks you is if you're going to have more children in the future.
You gotta stay tuned. You gotta stay tuned.
All right, that makes sense. Now just any last advice for our parents who are listening that you might want to give?
I got some. You want to go first?
Well, I just want to say, it happens every day. I have this whole list of what I'm going to do. And, I have 6 girls. So every day I have this thing of what I'm going to do with them today, or like taking their hair out. And there's some days I am just tired. And I say to other parents, when those days hit me and I'm like, I'm just tired, I am beginning more to lean into what's going on with me. And if I'm tired for whatever reason that day, I am just going to rest. It's going to be a rest day. It will get done. It will get done maybe later today or tomorrow, but it'll get done. Right now, my body is saying, lay down, take a break. It is okay to not be okay. And I think that I needed to hear that for myself. I need to tell myself that and not get so caught up in, but I need to do it. And just calm down. All it does is bring you is stress. So I would tell all of the parents out there, it's okay. It's okay. Take a moment for yourself. Yeah. Their hair will get done. They will get to practice. The grocery will be bought. It just take a minute for yourself. Self-care is the best care.
Yes.
That's great advice. How about you, Dion?
And I say with mental health being, one of the biggest things in our country right now, we see so many different things that's going on where mental health is on the brink seemingly of collapse. We constantly talk to our children. We have open discussions about various things, almost, any topic really. And we try to go into depth regarding it. And we also go into depth about respecting other people, not infringing on other people, understanding no matter how much you think you see, there's that much more you don't see. These are things that we try to make sure that they're cognizant of right now, so that they're not one that may push someone over the mental edge. You just never know what someone's dealing with. And I think a lot of parents forget that our children need to be schooled. They need to be schooled on every aspect and topic of life. So going back to the mental health, just really encouraging your children to be respectful, as we do with our children, of everyone. I mean, we break it down to the common denominator, because we do that because we want to see them be great individuals and help to propel our world, our country forward, versus hindering it, or making it worse. We want to see our children become great people by understanding and accepting other people. So that's one of the things that I encourage our parents to really be cognizant of, is how our children are sponges.
Exactly. You are great parents. You really are. And I'm proud that you're representing on TLC. You really am. And you're doing so well. Yeah, you really are. And, bless you both. And I want to thank you both for coming on Back Talk today. It really means a lot to all of our listeners, I'm sure, as well as I.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Okay. And thank you for participating and listening to Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine, the talk show and podcast for parents. Share this broadcast with anyone who needs to hear it, and let's get the word out. And be sure that you visit our syndicated podcast replays on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Android, and more. And don't forget to check out our website at successfulblackparenting.com, which is full of great content to help you to thrive and not just survive as a parent. The Derricos will be featured on our August-September digital cover, so check that out on our website on August 1st, 2021. You can also engage with us on social media, which you can get to from our website. So until next time, I wish you all the best and much success. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine. We'll see you soon.